Good day, everyone. This is 3D Create Tutorials, and I'll be coming to you with a tutorial on how to create this drone. So come and join me. Let's go. All right, so let's go and select the cube, and we're going to delete it. So select it, delete, and I'm going to start off with basically a disk. So let's bring this out to 2 feet, and we'll pull it out to about 6 feet high, and just hit OK. So now I'm going to select the top here and make it nice and smooth and round, not too much. Take the snaps off. So about 0.385, and maybe a little tighter, maybe 0.54. So hit OK, and we'll go to the side view here. And let's go ahead and start adding some pieces here. So I'm going to bring a line out here, and I'm actually going to use this to cut this. So let's get it more centered. Say OK. Now I'm going to select the object itself and the line and use the cutter. So select the cutter, hit OK. So I'm separating out the top piece from the rest of the body, basically. So now I'm going to pull this out a little bit with a fillet. Hit OK. And same thing here, just to give it some variations to separate each piece out from the other piece. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out a disc, and I'm going to actually first bring a line out so I can make sure I have that centered properly. And now select the disc, and it's going to pull this out. This will be where the camera will be located. So we'll pull it out about there. We're going to pull it down a little bit with the G key to about right there. Cool. So let's move this out, basically on the Y, and then we'll actually use the face tool here, and we'll push it through into the object. Hit OK. This way we have the two objects coming together. So select this object, and we're going to hit the Q and then Q again. So basically merge them together. First of all, we're going to use this and scale it down. I think that might be better. So we're going to bring this down. And then we're going to pull this out a little bit. So I want to put like a little indentation here on the front end of this. So again, I select the face selection, push this through. Not too far, just a little bit. I want just a little bit of a cut into this object. So select this object, let's push it in with the G key into the space. We want to just barely be away from the edge, say it OK. Now we can select this object and that object and hit the Q. There we go. Now we select the line and actually delete that. Let's go pull this out with the chamfer so it has a nice bevel look to it. And then I'm going to go back in and actually do a fillet here to make it more smooth and rounded on this edge. Same thing in here too. It's going to be on the plus. Cool. And this as well. So about right there. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to select the actual rectangle tool. And we're going to go up to the top here of this piece and bring this out, but we want to make sure we get the one with the middle snaps on it. So I'm going to select the right one. All right, so we got the one with the snaps in the center. We're going to pull this out right here. And we're just going to put a little divot here basically throughout this whole rounded section here. So select these two on the top. And we're going to create a little bit of a basically chamfer on that end. And then we're going to select all of them and now do a fillet. We're doing a chamfer and a fillet to make it a little bit different type of shape. Cool. Now we need to select the face selection, and we'll select that, and we're going to push this into the space. So push it in, right about there, and let's go ahead and hit the OK. Cool. Select this and actually delete it. So we're going to take this object now and actually use the actual radio array and bring it around this whole section here with a whole bunch of these sections. And I'm also going to select in the middle here the actual disc to go to the very edge here. Because what I want to do here is I want to actually take part of this piece here and just cut it out. I changed my mind on having it together as one. So now I selected that. I'm going to select this, but I'm going to pull this in So you can cut the piece out, hit OK. So let's go and select it now, and then select this piece and hit the Q. And then we're going to keep. So keep tool and say OK. Cool. So now that I got that piece separated, I went ahead and took off the actual fillet that was here just to make this a little easier. And I went to the side view here, and I actually am creating a little cut here, something like that. And now I'm going to select this, and we'll use the cutter, and we'll cut this here and hit OK. Now what we can do is we can actually hide this, and we can take this, and we can actually pull this out with a chamfer, hit OK. And now select this area and this area and pull this out with a fillet. And there we go. Now we can unhide what we just hid here, and we can start modifying this piece now. Yeah, but first we're going to go back to this other object here and start working this. So I'm just going to hit the circle line tool here, and we're going to pull this out right here and pull this outward. Not too big, so something like about there. Yeah. Right there, looks good. And then I'm going to go in here and select the line, and we're going to use the line tool here. I'm going to select the center of this. Use the center here. Pull this out to the center of this space right here. And we're going to do this exact opposite. So again, go from that point now to this point. There we go. Now we can actually take this line and we can trim the part here. Problem is it's too far out, so we can go back over here. So let's go back to this view here. I'm just going to delete this first. Trim this piece here. Now we select this line here, and we can move that up with the G key or extrude it with E. We use the F and pull on that point there straight up. There we go. Make sure it's going straight. All right, cool. So now we got this. A simple way to do this is just select the whole thing. We can actually create this section here again, just like we had before. And we select again another line here so we can get the whole thing. Now we got this whole thing created. We can cut that piece out. So use a trim. And we'll cut that piece and that piece out. Great. Now we just hit the face tool here. Okay, first, hit the face tool. And then we can extrude this outward or inward. Hit OK. Now select this line and we can delete it. There's multiple lines here, so delete them all. Now select the object and let's move it with the G key back into the place, all the way forward, right about there. Cool. Let's get a little closer to what we're doing here. Now I'm going to rotate this. So hit the R key and then the F and select that point and then move it inward like that. Now we can select this line here and we could do a nice little fillet. So it's nice and rounded. Hit OK. Now select the object selection. Select this piece and again hit the radial ray right there. And we're going to hit the center here. Now we're going to reduce that way down. We're going to go with about 6 and hit the OK button. Now we select the main object and we're going to select these. And we're now going to hit the Q key. And then we're going to hit the Shift Q. And we're going to hit the OK. Now we can take these pieces that are on the outside here and delete them all. So select them all and delete them. Hit the delete. There we go. Now let's go and select each of these. all 6 of these. And we're going to hit the G key and move it in just a little bit. So let's bring it in. Let's give it a little bit of space between the two parts. Now we select the lines on this edge here, on all around all 6 of these. Going. All right, so we got all 6 of those selected now. Let's go ahead and pull those out. Go ahead and select it here, pull this out. Very slightly. This one I'm going to create a chamfer. And I'm going to also now reselect those outer lines on each 6 of these locations. And again, we'll do a nice fillet on that as well. Okay, make sure you get all 6 of those selected. Now go ahead and pull this out just a little bit with on the plus. Cool. Hit OK, and that's done. All right, so that looks good there. And we're going to hit the OK button. And let's go ahead and keep modifying this a little bit more. So select these lines on the inside. And we'll select each of those. Select one, basically 6 of them again. So select all 6. Make sure you get the right line. Get that turned around. That's one right there. Perfect. That one as well. And this one, and then the next one. Now let's go pull this out. And we're going to do this as a fillet. The OK button. Great. Now we're going to add in another detail here. We're going to add a disc onto the top one. I'm going to pull it out right about here, just like that. And then we're going to hit the G key and move it back out. So use the green section, pull it out. Again, select this and do a Shift D. And we're going to bring this backwards and then scale this in a little bit. So we have a bigger one, smaller one. And again, let's hit the faces on both of these. Hit the L key to loft. And there we go. Now let's select these 2 sections here and just delete those lines with the line selection tool. So select this one, delete it, and this one and delete. Okay, now select this edge and pull this out with a fillet. Hit OK. Now we're just going to select the object tool, select it, and move it in. Again, we're going to make a copy of this. We're going to do a radial array around this object. Pull this out a little bit first. Make sure it's lined up right. Hit OK. Now hit the radial array, and let's go ahead and select it in the center. First, select this object. And now go ahead and each of these, select the first one, then the second one, and then delete it. Again, we'll go through each of these and do the same thing. I could have done one object and just copied it over. That would have been easy as well. Anyway, this is another option. Keep hitting OK. I messed that one up, so undo. So select that first, that one second, and then again Q. Hit OK. Same thing here. Do the exact same thing. Now this one and then this one. And again, hit the Q. Cool. Coming together. All right, so I had to redo this piece that was on the top of the actual lens. So I actually took the edge of the one piece here and actually used a center and brought it all the way out. And again, just recreating this, I wanted to make sure I somehow screwed this piece up earlier. So I hit the face tool, I'm going to bring it out to the same length as what I had originally. And about right there. And now that I've got this object, I'm going to kind of basically do some scratch again. So now I've got this line here. I'm going to go and shrink it down a little bit and bring it to the same piece that was in the intersection there before. And scale it up to the right location. And I think that looks good. I think I'm going to go ahead now and just get rid of some of this other stuff. So I'm deleting those pieces. And this one as well, delete. Make sure you get the right one. So delete this piece. Okay, so let's go and select these edges here. This one. And we're going to pull this out. The chamfer. Yeah, okay. And then we'll select these two inner pieces. And again, we'll pull this in a little bit on the plus. I guess we just got that one selected. Let's go select the back section here. But really the front section. Pull this out again with the chamfer. And select these two lines. We'll pull this in. Make sure we get both of them selected this time. Go closer, pull this out on the plus, hit OK. Cool. Now let's go select this with the face tool, face selection. We're going to actually move this out a little bit so we can work with it. I'm actually going to select the line tool, line selection. So select it, hit the Shift D and move this in a little bit. And we're going to scale this in a little bit. Something like that. Cool. Now select both faces and hit the L key. And this will loft them together. Now let's go and select these lines with the line selection and delete those. Now select the edge here and pull this out with the fillet on the plus. Hit OK. Now we'll go ahead and select it, and we're going to hit the actual G key and move this inward into the space. Just like that. Now select the main object, this object, and hit Q. So we're going to delete that piece out. OK. Okay, so now we deleted it, it's out of the way. Now we still got all these parts. So I'm going to select that whole thing, all those objects, and deselect the main one. I'm with the G key, just move this out just a little bit, just to make sure it covers the edge there. I just want to make sure it doesn't go without going past it. So just a smidgen over, hit OK. Okay, now we select the main object, and again hit the Shift key, and we'll select everything else. So select them all, and we'll hit the Q key, and hit OK. Now we got all those cut out. Starting to form a nice looking shape. I'll select the lines and select everything, and we'll deselect the ones on top. And let's turn around and just make sure we deselect some things we don't need anymore. So I don't want these to be controlled by the actual fillet or bevel that we're doing. So deselect everything that we're not going to need to do. This one too. This little center section here. And then there's one over on the right side. So over a little bit. All right, there's the pull right there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that one as well. Right click, control. All right, let's pull this out. Just a little bit. There we go. And hit OK. It's just a small amount, but it adds a little bit of, takes away the sharp edge, basically. I'm going to hide everything to see what this is looking like. So one thing I have is I got that piece down in front of those sections that we created earlier, which we definitely want to see those parts. So I'm going to create like a glass effect in the front of the lens there so you can see the inner parts. So I'm going to go to the actual circle tool, bring this out. And I'm going to bring it over at about here. So I'm going to use this as a cutter for this piece. Let's do another one. Same thing. Hit the center point, bring it out. I'm going to do a so you can see the circle area basically right there. And this way we can control what we're doing. I'll select the face selection, select this piece, and this just bring this into the space. Hit OK. Okay, so now I'm going to actually hit the object that I just created. And first I'm going to select the main object there and hit this object. And we'll hit the Q key. And I'm actually going to hit a Q and then a Shift Q. Now I can select this and hide it. Now we can select this inner piece here. Basically, we just delete this. So hit delete. Then we can unhide this piece once in front, and that's going to be a transparent object, so we can see through it. That's basically it to get the look that I wanted here. All right, so let's go ahead and add some more fillets and things like that to the space here. So we'll select the line tool, select this, pull this out a little bit on the plus, hit OK, and same with this line here. We'll pull this out on plus, very small, but 0.002. We could even type that in. All right, so now we select this line here, pull this out, again on the plus, not too far, like that, 0.001. The problem is this is too tight in that area, so we'll have to actually cancel that. Let's go ahead and select this line first. Let's pull this out a little bit. And we're going to go to basically 0.002. That looks good. And this line here, again, we can pull this a little bit. It's a small amount. You can even do a chamfer on this, 0.001, hit OK. Just to kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, let's also do these inner pieces here as well. On this inner glass piece, so actually I cut that little section out too to make it like a separate piece of glass, just the very front of this, after the fact. Okay, so I did a little bit of a fillet on both sides. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to actually bring in a sphere. So when I bring the sphere in, it will cut out the object if I'm not careful. So I'm going to pull it out here. I'm going to hit the X on the select target body so that way it doesn't cut it. And hit OK. And then I'm going to hit the G key and push this in to the space. G, bring it in. You get past the actual glass. Perfect. Now I did add some just basic materials to this stuff to break it up a little bit, which I'm not going to go over. It's just something you learn from some of my other tutorials that I put out. Okay, so now I'm going to actually create the shroud for the blade section for the drone. I'm pulling out a basic disc over on the right side here. And I'm going to use this to kind of get an understanding how far out I want to put this. So I'm going to go to the side here. And I want to actually select this line. First of all, I'll select it. And we're going to hit the G key and move this upward. But first we're going to do a Shift D so we can make a copy of it. So let's just bring this up a little bit. So now I got two of these. For some reason the Shift D didn't work, so let's do it again. Shift D, bring it up a little bit. Hit the OK. All right, cool. So now what we can do is we can actually select the actual face and select both of these. And we can hit the loft. There we go. Hit OK. And right now I'm just trying to basically lay out a object here next to this one to kind of give me some ideas. So I'm pulling this out both sides here, and I want to get this like a chamfer. So it's a harder edge first of all, and then go back and add in fillets throughout this thing so it's nice and smooth around. Again, this is not my permanent shape, just trying to outline the actual object to help me drive this thing. All right, so let's go and move this away from it a little bit, give it some space, and hit the OK after you do the G key. And I kind of like where this is at, but I need to bring it up, of course. It's too low. So go to the side view here, hit the G key, and let's move it upward. A little bit lower than the actual A. And we're going to bring this up a little bit more too to make it a little bit bigger. Again, this is just to give me some understanding of shapes. So going to the Z, I kind of like the width of this thing. So I'm going to actually use this now to cut out the center section here. So we're going to use that. I'm going to use the cutter and we'll hit OK and then select the center here and delete. Now we can actually select the lines and delete those as well. So delete. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to continue to farm this a little bit more out. So I kind of shrunk this in a little bit. Did a fillet on it, and I'm just trying to tighten this in. And same with the top piece here. I'm going to most likely, and the bottom piece, pull that out a little bit. So I'm going to pull this out on the plus. So I'm getting some nice round shapes here and a sharp shape on the edge. Again, just trying to get something that looks decent. And pull this out just a little bit to get a little bit more of a roundness on those edges. Something like that. All right, cool. Now to the tough part, adding the wing to the actual shroud. So once I get this a little bit dialed in, I think that looks good there. Hit the OK button. All right, so I cut out a center section here with a rotated line, and I decided to kind of go back and kind of change the things. So I reconnected this again with the Q, so it's one piece again. So I'm going to use the line again and just cut this over here. I'm going to create a form to connect this to, and we'll do a Shift D here and bring this down. Again, I'm still trying to line this up and just try to come up with a design that looks nice. So select the object and we're going to use the cutter. So use the cutter, hit both lines with the left mouse button. And there we go. Now I'm going to Shift D this. And all right, so select this one, hit the SS to scale it. First of all, we can get these in this section here and hide them with the H. And this we can actually scale. And we're going to take away the actual Z, make that back to 1, hit OK. We don't want that to scale up or down. Let's hit the center now. We're going to cut a little section of this out. Shrink this line down a little bit that we just created. And now we're going to use this object selection, and we're going to use the cutter, and we're going to select that. Cool. Now select this area here and delete it. So this is our actually outside of the unit to hold it in place. So now I'm going to cut a piece of this away. So I'm going to select it and mirror this. And then I'm going to go and select the object and select these two sections here and cut into the actual object. And now we can select these sections here and delete them. Now select the line tools and delete those and these and this one. Cool. This is kind of like our connection device for the shroud. Let's go do Alt-H to hide it. And select the object tool and this one. And we're going to scale this down just a smidgen. It's a little too big. It's not really, it's too wide on the inside. I'm going to position this a little bit into it, which is fine. Okay, select the top section again, and we're going to hit the H. And same with the bottom. And we get rid of the inner piece. Perfect. So now we're going to connect this piece to this piece. We could actually delete that one or hide it. Select these two intersections. And we're going to hit the E key to extrude. Just like that. Hit OK. Just the actual rectangle tool on the Z axis. And we're going to set it off in the center here. So we want the middle point rectangle selection. So let's go down and hit the rectangle again, but this time with a point in the center. There we go. Select the center of this and move this out. I want this a little bit bigger than the actual other piece. So I'm going to bring it out to there. Let's select this object and we'll use the cutter. And I'll select that and hit OK. So basically, I'm creating lines into this object is what I'm doing here. So select this, hit the delete key. I want this piece to connect to the upper piece, which is that piece. So select both of these and hit the F key and then BR, which is bridge edge. Let's make that G1 on both tangencies because G2 is a little bit too much of a curve. Same thing at the bottom. Select this piece here and this other piece on the bottom right here. Again, F, BR, G1, G1. Hit the OK. Cool. All right, we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just to try to get ourselves a good startup here. So G1, G1 again. And the bottom here. There we go. Again, F, bridge edge, hit G1, G1, hit OK. We need to extrude these, so select both these lines and hit the E key and bring it upward, and these two E key and bring it downward. Now let's select those 4 blue lines and delete them. That one and that one. Cool. Now I'm going to start selecting these lines, so let's go and select all these. I'm going to go around this whole thing as well as that piece there, and we're going to hit the patch, just like that. So that patched without any G1, G0, G2, which that occasionally happens. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Set these again, make sure everything's selected. Now, hit the patch. Cancel, that did not work. The reason it didn't work is because a lot of the stuff is not connected properly. I'm going to bring a line down the center here, and I'm going to cut these sections out. And we're going to use a cutter to actually cut things in half. Select this one again. Cutter, hit this line here, hit OK. And we got to do the one in the very front there. So select this, hit the cutter, hit that, hit OK. So now we got the whole half completely cut out. Cool. We hit the actual face, and we can delete that. Shift X. And now we can delete these pieces here. Okay, so let's go ahead and select some more things with the Shift X. All right, so we'll select that top piece there. And we're going to BR to that piece there. And G1, G1 again. We're going to hit the OK. So select this, go to the side view, hit the F key, and just bring it straight up. Right, so let's go ahead and select these again. Hit the patch, and there we go. Now that patched perfectly. Okay, let's go and select this and hit the Shift X. And then select the line here and delete it. I select this line here and this line here. Again, with the F key. And we hit the BR again for bridge edge. G1, G1, hit OK. Select this one, and we're going to bring this down with the E key. I'm going to select this and delete that piece. Just try and get everything lined up here. Let's go select the intersection here. Select all these pieces. All right, and we can again hit the patch. All those patches are working great. All right, so now I got those patched really well. Let's go and select this one and hit the Shift X to delete that section. We don't need that anymore. So we got all these created now, which is great. Again, this is just to help us along. I'm just going to select this and bring it in a little bit, right to the edge. Kind of where it was when it first started, right on the edge of this curvature, like that. Great. I'm going to select these two, and we're going to hit the Shift J, so they merge. And we need to go in here now and just delete some things. So let's go and hit the line tool here, but we'll hit the face selection and select these. And again, hit Shift X. Get rid of that. And this one as well. We want to deal mostly with the surfaces right now. That's our objective here. Okay, we get rid of that one too. We get rid of that piece as well. There's no need for that inner piece. And this one too. Shift X. Do it again. Not like in the way it's really sharp on the end here. I need to kind of fix that, but this is the start of the whole process of connecting something like this. So again, we can select this, delete that as well, and select the whole thing, and hit the J key to merge them all. Now let's mirror this to the other side, and then hit the OK button. All right. So now everything's one piece. That's great. All right, so we need to work this out a little bit differently. We need to add in another location on the side to kind of help us drive the connections better. So I'm going to go with the line tool. And I'm going to select the area edge here that we created earlier, just to give us a good reference to start with. And I'm going to pull this out all the way straight down, basically, just like that. I'm actually going to now bring this up and line it up, and there we go. So now I'm going to select this object, selection object tool, and select it and hit the cutter, and just cut that. There we go. So now we got this cut. We have a lot better opportunities now to connect these pieces together right where that new cut is and the existing. That will give us a lot better area to work with. So let's go and select the actual face tool and let's select these right here and let's delete those. Shift X. Same thing here. And this one, Shift X. Hit the Shift key, Shift X. There we go. We also have these inner pieces that we gotta get rid of. So I'm going to use the line tool now and select this edge here. And I'm also going to select this piece up on top. So I have a really good place to connect these two together. I'm going to hit the F again and BR for bridge edge. And this one I'm going to hit G1, G1. Actually, I'm going to go G1 and G2. I'll decide which way I want to go here. With G2, G2. And I'm going to bring this down now. I'm going to delete this line. Cool. And I'm going to try to select these and reconnect them with the patch tool. And we're going to use the X nerves on this one just to save some time. Again, I'm sure I could have worked this out if I didn't want to, or wanted to spend more time on this. I could have definitely gone through and figured out a way to get around the X nerves, but it's just much quicker and easier for me in this situation. Right, so I got this line here, and I wasn't able to work that out yet, but I'm going to now go ahead and select this piece here. I'm going to use the actual Control R, and I'm going to bring a line up about midway. I'm going to use that line with this line to help me drive a better connection here. So select this and that one. Hit the F key and bridge edge. So BR. And now I got the two lines here. That helps me kind of start working this out. So now that I have that, I'm going to hit this line and actually hit the E key and bring it up. And this other line here, E key, and bring it down. And I'm going to select these two blue lines and delete them. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and select, delete that as well. Now, get that out of the way. Just going to select these 4 sections. And again, make sure nothing else is selected. Make sure you got the right one. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the patch tool. Again, that it works. So I went with X NURBS just to save time. So again, G1 on that end. And I'm good with that for now. Let's go select this now and hit the Shift X and Shift X, and let's delete those 2 sections. It's something to go right straight down the middle here to help my situation here, all the way across. I'm going to use the object tool and select it. And we're going to hit both of these and hit the cutter tool and select the line. Cool. Now I can select the bottom section here and just delete it. Exactly half and half anyway, so that's perfect. So now I can select this line here, and I can select the bottom here because it's centered. And again, hit the F and bridge edge. And we're going to go G2. G2 is fine. Just bring this down and delete this again. All right, so let's select these all the way around. Get the right one. Select this one first and then that one. Make sure I select it better. And we'll select this one here and this one. And again, we're going to hit the patch. And it won't go because, again, I probably just need to get more things selected here, but the X NURBS one works great. So I'm going to put the 2 in ones at G1, this one at G1, and I keep the bottom one at G0. Hit OK. Go back and fix this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So again, G1, G1, G1. And that one worked too, so I got away with G1 on that one as well for the bottom. So select this face here, hit Shift X, and again, select the line and just delete this. Cool. But now let's go and select these faces here. Delete those with Shift X. I want to reconnect these basically. So let's go to the top view and I'm going to actually cut this center section out here. So go to the top, select the two objects and use that line that we already have here and just cut them with that. And we're going to delete those two pieces as well. We select this line and this line. Hit the key, BR, and we're going to keep G2. Hit OK. And we can actually extrude this. And so let's go and select these sections here, all the way around, piece as well, and this piece. Everything's selected. Hit the patch tool. And we're going to go with X nerves. Just to save time again. G1, G1, G1. G1. That G0. All right, so let's go and select all these. I'm going to hit the, select this again, and we'll delete that with Shift X. And again, Shift X, and the bottom piece. There we go. That's perfectly flat. You also select this to Shift X. There we go. Hit the line and delete that as well. All right, it's coming together. This one too. That's the top view here. Let's go ahead and do a mirror, but select the object first. Make sure they're all selected. Hit J key. Merge everything, or QQ. Merge everything. Okay, let's try this again. Here. Go straight down the center there and drop it. Hit OK. Great. Now let's go ahead and do the center of this with the mirror. Select it. Opposite side, hit OK. Select all these and I'm going to merge them with J. Shift J. Make sure we get them all selected. All right, let's select all these. I'm going to hit QQ, merge them together with Boolean. Hit OK. Mirror it. One side so it's exactly the same. Hit OK. It's there. So let's hit the mirror. I'm going to go to the center of this with the F key. Select center and pull it out. There we go. Okay. All right, almost there. Let's select this piece. We're going to mirror this. Then again, we're going to go to the side here, hit OK and merge. And we'll do it again. Then we're going to bring it closer. Let's hit the F key. Bring it out there. Perfect. Hit OK. Merge halves. There we go. Did a little bit of fillet there. And one on both of these ends and the bottoms. Cool. Let's pull this out a little bit. So I went back here and actually, now I'm going to have to fix this here. So I'm going to take these little edges here and actually do a fillet on them. All four of them. And I'm going to pull this out. So let's bring that out. Again, it's not exactly the same as the other piece, which I gotta kind of fix, but for now, this is going to continue with the numbers that I'm putting in. Cool. All right, so this is a little bit different angle than this, and you can see through it. So we definitely don't have a closed section there, which we got to fix. So I went ahead and deleted these two little sections here, basically on the around the edge there. And now I'm actually selecting these two edges here. I'm going to use this to help drive this. So I'm going to actually hit both those lines and do a F and a bridge edge. And I'm going to bring this up and extrude it there. And I'm going to also delete this piece here. And I'm going to use this to help me drive this connection here. So again, I'm going to hit this line here and the line above and also the new line that we just created. And we're going to hit the patch tool. So basically I'm hitting the L key to loft this now. It seems like that is the perfect solution to get this resolved. And I'm also going to select the line there. So now all three are G1. And I'm going to put that G0. This with G0, see which one actually solves the problem. Neither one of them works, so that's not going to work. So I went ahead and went to X NURBS, tried that. And this time it actually came through. X NURBS, I'm going to actually put these both at G1. Rotate it over to the side here, and I'm also going to select this edge here. So make sure you select it. Hit OK. Okay, so now we can select these sections here and actually hit the J key to merge them. So J key, merge. And now we can just delete this section on the top here with the Shift X. And then select this line and delete it. Now we can actually select these four pieces here. And again, we can reconnect it. So hit the patch again. And that didn't take this time. So again, X NURBS, G1, G1, G1. And the edge doesn't be G0. All right, cool. So that's it for that. And let's go ahead and merge these with the J key again. All right, so now we got that kind of fixed. I still got to go back and kind of fix some tweaks that I need to work out. This looks a little distorted in a few areas, so I'm going to get back to that in a minute. So now on the side view here, I'm going to go ahead, and since I did that one side, I'm going to go ahead and now do the mirror on this whole thing all the way around. So again, hit the F key, bring it down to the side here so we can mirror to the bottom. Hit OK. That way I don't have to go through all that process again. This again. Again, I'm going to go the opposite way. Seems like it went the backwards. So, all right, that resolved that. Now it's fixed. Sometimes you just got to go the opposite way. Okay, now let's go down the center. Do the same thing. We're going to mirror. So again, go to the back side here. Hit mirror. Make sure you get both these objects selected. Actually hit QQ to get them merged. And now go ahead and mirror one side to the other side. And you can also hit merge halves. I'll just save you one step. I didn't do that here, but that's okay. So again, select both of them and hit QQ. Hit OK. All right, cool. So that's it for that. And like discussed earlier, I got to do a few things to repair. So I just want to see what this looks like now next to the actual headpiece. All right, so I'm going to start touching this up a little bit. I'm going to add some more actual fillets here on the between those two parts right there. Kind of break it up a little bit so they look like they are not the same pieces, as well as here. Just going to adjust this as well, pull it out. Again, the fillet and the inside piece as well. This way it kind of has a variation like it's a separate piece. Okay. And I'm looking at the side of my shroud. It definitely needs to have some work done. It has like some indentations for some reason in the actual material there. So I'm looking at it now, and I definitely need to fix these things because it definitely does not look good at all. All right, so let's go and select some of the faces here, and we're going to modify them. So I'm going to the side view. We're going to change the color here and show edges basically so I can see what I'm doing. And let's go and select these faces right here. Each of these, hit the Shift key. And I'm going to actually hit the Shift X to delete these. There you go. Okay. That's one great thing about this program. You can keep going back and fixing things as you need to. Okay, so now I'm going to select these again and see how it comes out just by reattaching them. Make sure I select this though. That one, and let's go all the way around. And that piece there, that could be some of the problems that we've been having early on, is that little piece there. And this piece here, and just keep going all the way down till the end. Okay, so we got them all selected. Let's hit the patch tool. And of course, it's not going to patch. So I'm going to hit the F key and go again to Xnerves. And this tutorial did a lot of Xnerves. Hopefully the next one I'll do more of just the actual patch. I get a little bit more time on my schedule. So I'm going to hit all these to G1. This to G1. That's a G1. And these to G1. Still seems to be a little issue somewhere there with one of these. So I'm going to dial these back into G0 and see what happens. That one to G0 and see what that might be the main one right there. So, okay, so now let's dial that back into G1 and this to G1. And at G0 as well, I guess. That's causing part of the problem, but that's okay. Still got a little bit of forming on the top. I need to kind of resolve. Okay, so I'm going to do some more adjustments here. I don't like the way this is pitching at the ends here when it comes together as well. So I need to fix that as well. So again, I'm going to select the face and I'm going to select these sections here and these sections here and that one again. And we're going to hit the actual Shift X. What we could do here is just loft this all the way around. That might resolve the problems I'm having. So get in a better position here. We're going to start from the end here, in this section here. And again, I'm going to use the L key to loft. There it goes. Okay, that did loft. That did great. Actually did a really good job. Nice and rounded. So I guess I might just go ahead and just patch it instead. So I'm going to select this. Again, the back piece here. Make sure you get them all selected. And the section around here, as well as that little piece in the very, very corner. There we go. And again, we could try the patch tool, see if that works. But lo and behold, we've got to go to Xnerves. So F, Xnerves. And we're going to hit G1. G1. Seems to be a lot better looking than it was before. That G1, and that could be a G1. Just do that very bottom one for some reason. Hit the OK button. We'll just combine these down. The J key does look a lot better. There's still a little bit of distortion here, but not that bad actually. This object's going to be flying, so I don't really see any issue with being very up close. I think it'll be fine the way it is. All right, so now I got the one side. Let's go and mirror this other side over, so that way the whole thing is cleaner. All right, so we're going to select the opposite side and hit OK. Make sure it's on the exact right side here. And now they're merged. Well, actually not merged yet, but let's go and merge them. So hit the QQ twice again. And I think that looks really nice. I'm going to go ahead and hide some of this other stuff now and work on the inside of this piece here. So select these, hit the H key, select all these, hit the H key, and these as well. And that one too. Okay, cool. So let's go in here and kind of fix this inner piece here. I think that'll look a lot nicer if I get it resolved. So I'm going to go in here and delete that piece. So it's Shift X. And then we'll also select these pieces around. And I probably would better just hit the Alt key and select them that way. But anyway, I'm selecting each one by itself. And select those, and then just go ahead and select the rest of these. Cool. Now we got these all selected. Hit the Shift X. Delete that piece. And there's some of the issues I think that's causing some of our problems. These should not be there. That may be causing a lot of our problems with the connections that we were trying to do. Right, hopefully when you guys are creating your own, you don't have the same issues I had, and you can just patch it. I think sometimes the way you cut something, it can cause these type of problems. Anyway, select it. Got to select it now. Hit the line tool, and there we go. Now we can delete that piece, and let's do the other side as well. I have a little difficulty selecting this properly. Select all that, deselect everything else but that. Try to hit delete, it's still not going. I decided to actually hide this and now work on this all by itself. Select the whole thing, hit Shift X, and select the face again, Shift X. And now I can select it. There we go. It was holding that pretty good there. Delete it. All right, cool. Okay, so I'm going to loft these bottom and the top section just to kind of get this somewhat connected. So again, select all 4 pieces here, hit L. And I'm going to put this at G0 so it's a tight edge there. I think that would be easier to connect. All right, so now got to deal with these pieces here. Should we select everything? Hit the patch tool again. And that did not work. Let's go and select these together and hit the J key to merge them together. Now let's try again. Sometimes we just got to make sure that that's selected and it's done right. So select all these. Again, hit the patch tool. And that time it worked. So we got to make sure that some of these are G0 and G1. I think we're going to go with G1 on these in the middle section. And not that one there. That's going to be a very tight edge. So put that at G0. Make them all G0 for now. It's not going to be seen anyway. It's going to be on the inside mostly. Okay, I'm good with that. So let's go and do the other side now. Same thing. Hit the patch. That time it didn't even work. So again, it's real finicky today. So I decided to go ahead and just create a cylinder here instead for now until I get that other piece resolved. Again, I just need to mirror that thing over, but I'm going to bring out a actual circle, and I'm going to make sure it's on the right axis, so it's on the center here. So let's bring it down a little bit in this direction. Now let's turn it around, and there we go. I need somewhere to penetrate the actual support structure that's supporting the actual shroud. So I need to bring this out a little bit. I'm going to actually hit the face selection and bring this into the space and hit the OK button. Cool. Make sure it's not all the way into the other part. That's number 1. So let's go and select this and delete it. And we can pull this out a little bit. Okay. I'm going to select this and pull it out with a chamfer to give it some different design look. And I'm going to select the object again and select this and hit the actual Q. And I'm going to keep tool. Cool. Now I'm going to select this section here and pull this out a little bit. Now this won't work because I do not have a full controlled solid. So that's something we got to resolve now before we do this. I decided to go ahead and just cut this edge piece out a little bit more. I think that's causing most of our problems. So I'm going to pull that out and just do a cut right there. And I'm doing this to kind of just clean this thing up. There has to be some issues with this whole thing and that zone there. And that's what's causing a lot of our issues. So sometimes you just got to cut things out and then resolve it. So again, I was able to patch that very easily now. If I select everything and pull it out, I can do a nice looking fillet. And it just works. And now it is considered a solid. So again, it just had to do with those pieces on the end, not really connecting properly. Just going to pull it out a little bit. Cool. All right, so now we select this object, first this one and then this one, and hit the Q and keep tool again. And this will resolve that problem that we had before. And now we can pull this out with the line tool. So again, select it, pull this out. There we go. Let's fill it there, hit OK. Yeah, that's all it needed was that little piece cut out. And that resolved all my problems. So again, let's go ahead with the rectangle tool. Go to the side here. I'm going to create a piece on the top here to help drive some different looks. Let's go and select this piece here. And again, I'm going to bring it up with the face tool. Bring it up right about there. Cool. And now we can select the actual edges and kind of bring this to the side. This one as well. And actually, we're going to select the face here and bring this in. So select the face, pull it in, just like that. Hit OK. And then the line tool. So select the line tool. Make sure you get to the right part. And let's go ahead and bring it down with the blue arrow, which is Z, and then also on the X. And bring it up a little bit. There we go. Just to give it some different looks to it, to make it look interesting. All right, so let's go and select these two pieces and this other piece right here. So 3 pieces, and just pull this out on the plus. And that looks good. And these pieces as well. So make it smoother looking basically. All right, cool. So now we can select this piece. First, I want to actually rotate it along this point here. That is basically 8. And I'm going to bring it up to 10. I think that looks better. Hit OK. Now let's go and select this and delete it. And let's go select the object selection and select all these together. Hit QQ. So it's one piece. And there we go. That looks a lot better. So a few things I want to do here is I want to take this piece and cut it into the actual shroud. And that's going to help me drive the ability to bring this thing in and out as it needs to go. And to do this, I got to make sure that I don't cut too much, as it'll cut into the other part of the shroud. So I got to kind of be careful about that. All right, so I'm going to pull this out with the G key on the X, and I'm going to actually adjust the inner piece here, because again, if I don't think about this ahead of time, I'm going to have problems, or I just cut this piece out basically. So I'm going to use the cutter, select that and delete it, and we can just delete this. So now I could take this and bring it in without really harming the inside of that object. So again, you got to be very careful. So I'm going to bring it in so I can actually create that form inside. So hit the OK button, and then now select this main object and then the actual cutter here. And again, Q, and we're going to keep tool. We do not want to cut that away. So there we go. And select this again. And we'll bring it in just a little bit more. Make sure it doesn't go through. Hit OK. And again, hit this object first. So hit this object first. And then the piece that goes into the shroud. and hit Q again. Keep tool again, hit OK. All right, cool. Now we can take this and move it out with the G key. And now we got the formed section in the shroud. Now we can select this face here and just pull it back out so it belongs. Not too far. Again, this whole thing has to go into the space, so keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of fillet to these edges here. So select both and do that with the B. And I'm going to select these pieces as well and move it into place like about there. Cool. Hit the OK button. Now we can select this and kind of hit the E key to expand it outward. Yeah, that looks a lot better now. All right, very cool. So I'm going to start doing the mirror here and just getting things tidied up so it's all the same as the opposite side. So again, I'm selecting this and this. First, I'm going to actually do the mirror on this. Make sure it's exactly the same on the other side so I have the holes already indented into it. Now I created holes into this actual section as well. I didn't show that, but I did that earlier. Same thing as I did in the shroud, same process. Okay, so I'm mirrored everything over, make sure it's the same. And I brought the part over as well. And same thing with the bottom piece and the shroud itself. Cool. So now I got everything connected here. Everything looks good. Okay, I'm going to bring out a disc here, about there, and I'm going to bring this down. This is the base of this thing I'm going to create. So we're right about right there. Okay, and then again, go ahead and bring this back up. I want this form to kind of come together. I don't want it too long. Okay. And now we can select this and Shift D, and we can bring this upward. And again, I'm going to select this now and Shift D that as well. So I have a way to kind of form this. Also bring another disc out here. So I'll select this actual face there and bring it down. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Hit the OK. All right, so select this face. Select this face. Let's hide these. Okay, to connect these, I'm going to just use the line and hit a Shift D basically. I think that this would be a much easier way to do this. So select the line and we'll select this line and we'll do Shift D. The loft doesn't work, so again, select the inner now. Select this one and hit Shift D. And this one as well, Shift D. So we're making two new faces. And I'm actually selecting now the actually edge of each one of these and lofting them. That works great. Cool. Now select this one, hit Shift D again. D. And again, we're going to use the line and L key is again to loft. Cool. We can select this section up here and delete those and those as well. So select the lines, the bottom ones as well. So after thinking about the way I did the disc earlier, I had to go back and fix a bunch of things, but the best way would have been to just actually take those two edges that you created with these cylinders and actually loft those together with the L key and then go back in and actually do the same thing with this one, this edge to this edge, L. Now that we've done that, we can go back in and close off the tops. So select this one, delete it, select this one, delete it. Again, we can delete all these ones we don't need anymore. And then we can select this edge here, with the Alt key. And we could also patch. Same with the bottom. So that way we can get a full closure. Again, patch. And then now that we've gotten that somewhat controlled, you could also go in here, just raise this up a little bit more. This one down a little bit more, and it keeps continuing to raise and scale as it needs to, of course. And then we can go back in here and unhide this. And the best way would have been to, again, hit this again, Alt key, patch, hit OK. And this one too, Alt key, patch, hit OK. Now, this is considered a solid, and same with this. So now that you got this one, you can select this one, and again, hit the Q key, and this will give you what we wanted originally, which is so much easier to do for understanding. Now, when I went in to cut the inside of this space here, and I did something like this, take this off. When I went in here to kind of cut the inner piece here, if I would have just done this, I wouldn't have had to clean up all that stuff. So again, just better ways to do things. B key. And then we could actually do mirror on this line. So mirror, hit the F key, set the center of this. And then we can hit the J key, actually select both of them, J. Here we go. Select this, and then we'll use the cutter. Select this, hit OK, and then we delete that section out. And again, that keeps the solid now completely all the way through, so you don't have to redo things. Just a better explanation of that. Hope this helps. Well, let's go ahead and add a fillet here or a chamfer. Thinking small little fillet. And then in the inside, I don't need to do anything there. And then I could also select the outer side here. See what this looks like. Let's go to the front view here. I'm going to bring out a line, and I'm actually going to continue to build this out to create a cut inside of this. So let's go and select this point here, the point mode. And we'll move this over just a little bit. And select these two here, hit the B key, and pull this out on plus. And tighten it up a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to mirror this. So select the line, hit the mirror, right there, right on the side, hit OK. Now select both of these and hit J to merge them. And now we can select the main object here. Also rotated this 90 degrees. Made a copy of it, so this will be easier. Okay, so let's go to the front here. And I cut that section out right there. And then I got to select this one and do the same thing. Use the cutter. That line there, hit OK. And again, select the pieces and delete them. Be 2 total. Okay, let's go to the side now and adjust this a little bit. So I'm going to select the line that I just created a minute ago. And I got to tell you before, I got these holes down in the object because it was not a full solid, which is causing these problems. So hopefully you did my suggestion before you did this. You don't have to go back and do all this repair. And you could just fast forward to the next part. All right, so selecting this again, use the cutter, use this side here. Go on, we'll select this piece, cutter, and selecting it, hit the OK. Cool. And this piece as well. Use the cutter, select that piece again, hit the OK. All right, there we go. Now we can delete those sections there. That one didn't cut for some reason. We got to go back and cut that. So select it again, hit the cutter, hit OK. There we go. Now we got that piece out of there. And like I said, we could go around all that repair if we just did the right thing in the first place, that I would have done the right thing in the first place. Okay. So hit the Alt key. Patch. G0 is fine. And I went through the whole thing and did each one of these. So select the whole thing with Alt key again. Hit the patch. Hit OK. All right, so I got all those patched now. I'm going to actually go in and select the objects. First select these and delete them. Get them out of our way, the lines. Delete. And these two. I decided to actually delete that piece. I'm going to select this line here with the Alt key and this line here. And I'm going to hit the, so again, we're going to use the loft on this L. I'm going to select both of these, all these sections here, and merge them with the J key. J key. Okay, now that made it into a solid. So once you resolve the problem, then everything goes away. I'm just going to add some more fillets and stuff to this. So let's select this outer side and the inner side. Make sure we get them all selected. Go around. Make sure everything's got selected here. Perfect. Now we're going to pull this out on the plus. Actually, we'll go a little bit into the negative with the chamfer. I'm going to go with the chamfer first. Let's give it some edges on this thing. Like that, so hit OK. Now we can go back in and select these pieces again and do a fillet on them. So make sure you select all of them all around. Pull this out. And hit OK once it's done. All right, so I'm going to fast forward some of these basic fillets so we don't waste a lot of time here. Okay, so now we're going to actually add in the actual supports for the propellers. So we're going to pull out a circle on the shroud over here and about the same size as what we had for the actual piece that went into the shroud. And we're going to bring this in. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the face selection here, and we're going to pull this inward into the actual shroud as if it belongs. Hit the OK. Okay, let's go and select this with the line selection and delete it. Cool. And now we can pull this out with the fillet, make it nice and round, hit OK. I'll select this face here, and we're going to Shift D it. And let's move this out a little bit. And hit OK. And select this part of the object and this part. We're going to hit the Q, and then Q again, so we can merge them together as one. Select this here and pull it out with the plus. So it gives a nice fillet there. Select the face here and hit E key and pull this in. Okay, select the object selection here. I'm going to select this section here and this section. I'm going to hit the Q key. Use the line tool here. Try to get myself a good center position. G key. Use the F key. That to the center. And we'll select the section here. And we'll mirror it right down the center to the opposite side. All right, so we copied it to the other side. And that's a little bit too big, so we're going to scale it down just a little bit with the SS. Go. Be okay once it's in place. All right, so go ahead again and hit the Q key. Got that piece into the other piece. Now I also want to re-merge these back together again with QQ. I want that to be one piece. Hit the OK button. Cool. Now we'll cut back into this piece here with the Q, and we're going to keep tool. Actually, we want to hit that and this. QQ. Hit the OK. Now it's one object. Now we can go in and actually select this section right here and kind of pull it out with a fillet. Make sure we select Alt key to select the whole thing, and the other side as well. And we can pull this out with a plus. Too much, just a little bit. Cool. Change some things. I'm going to pull out a disc in the center of this spot, and this will be the actual motor. And I'm going to use the face tool, and I'm going to actually hit the extrude and bring that down into the space. And then I'm going to bring it out just a little bit more. First of all, I want to take this edge here and pull it up. We're going to make this into a chamfer. Just a little bit, just like that. Now we can select this piece right here. Use the face tool. Actually, we'll bring it up a little bit and add a little bit of a fillet there. And I'm going to take this down and actually do a chamfer. And the same thing here. Select this piece of this face. Pull it all the way through. Same thing with this one. Right into the actual motor. Hit OK. All right, so now we can select it. And we can bring down just a little bit more. So it's more of a center of the main section. Okay, we're going to hit both of these and hit QQ, and we're going to merge them. Pull out the edge here with a fillet, and same with the other side. Cool. Now the top piece. Let's bring that down a little bit with a chamfer. Fillet. Pull this up. Okay. select this and we'll pull it in again with a chamfer, and we'll take this piece on top, bring it in right about there, and we'll hit the extrude here and just extrude upward. Now we're going to pull this out with a fillet. That looks a lot nicer, and a little bit of one here as well. Okay, so I'm going to copy the top piece, hit Shift D, and move this out of the way a little bit. Move this on the Z, so GZ, scale it down. Okay, let's select the face here, and we're going to extrude it with the E key into the space. Okay, so now we select the main object here and this piece here and hit Q. And that's going to cut that piece out. Perfect. Now it's going to select this piece and pull this as a chamfer. And then these two other pieces back as a fillet. Now for the bottom piece here, we want to pull this down. Just select the face. We'll pull this down a little bit with the extrude. Okay. Oops, pull this out with the fillet. This one too. This one will make it again. Fillet. Okay. All right, so I brought in a blade from another project that I worked on prior, which I showed on YouTube on how to create another drone. So just go ahead and kind of emulate that if you want, or create your own. Anyway, just want to make sure it's centered on this space here. And once it's set up, I want to make sure I had basically 5 blades. Not too many, because these are good sized blades. So anyway, I got them connected to the bottom of that shaft. And this is the piece that I had before. And again, delete that, get out of the way. Just delete these as well. Cool. So now I put those there. I'm going to also copy and mirror this to the other side. Now I did mirror the shroud to the other side with the new motor and everything. And just follow along with the same process. And again, I'm going to take the blades and copy them and paste them to the other side. And that's pretty much it. This wraps up this object, and hope you enjoyed the modeling process. And if you'd like to see some other things like this, let me know. Please subscribe and leave some comments if you have any questions. All right, thank you for joining me.